I declare that the 525th Convocation of McMaster University for the conferring of degrees is now in session.
Please be seated. Good afternoon. I am David Wilkinson, Provost and Vice President Academic at the University. This afternoon I have the great pleasure of acting as your Master of Ceremonies and of welcoming you all to our Convocation ceremony. Before we start our formal program, I first ask everyone in the hall to switch off any electronic device that may ring or beep during the ceremony. I would now like to call upon our Chancellor, Dr. Suzanne Labarge, to make her own welcoming remarks.
Welcome, honored guests, staff, faculty, families, friends, and most importantly, graduates. This is an exciting day for all of you who are graduating today, as well as for all those people who have supported you and stood behind you, and in many cases have had a key role in your being here today. You have achieved a great deal to get here, and you should all be very proud of your success and looking forward to what the future might bring. Congratulations and enjoy the ceremony.
I would now like to introduce Dr. Patrick Dean, President and Vice Chancellor, who will be presenting the honorary degree recipient.
Mr. Chancellor, by the authority of the Senate of McMaster University, I have the honor to present James Hogg. Dr. James Hogg, who is currently Professor Emeritus of Pathology at the University of British Columbia and a faculty member at St. Paul's Hospital in Vancouver, is a world-renowned biomedical scientist and one of the best-known clinician scientists in Canada. Dr. Hogg earned his medical degree at the University of Manitoba in 1962 and served as a medical officer in the Royal Canadian Air Force for 3 years after graduation. Following his discharge from military service, he joined the Faculty of Experimental Medicine at McGill University, where he obtained an MSc in 1967 and a PhD in 1969. He subsequently trained in anatomical pathology at Massachusetts General Hospital and at the Royal Victoria Hospital in Montreal. He received his first continuing academic appointment in 1971 when he became a member of the faculty at McGill. And just 4 years later, he was appointed the Miranda Fraser Professor of Pathology. In 1977, Dr. Hogg relocated to Canada's west coast, taking a position at the University of British Columbia and establishing, in collaboration with Peter Parry, the UBC Pulmonary Research Laboratory at St. Paul's Hospital. This laboratory, now known as the James Hogg Eye Capture Centre for Cardiovascular and Pulmonary Research, has become world-renowned for its work on structure and functional relationships of asthma and chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, two diseases that together have been diagnosed in more than 3.7 million Canadians. The Eye Capture Centre is now the largest pulmonary institute in Canada, with almost 250 personnel, including 26 principal investigators. Dr. Hogg's personal leadership and research output have helped establish both the Centre's and Canada's global reputation for excellence in this field. He and his colleagues have demonstrated how structural abnormalities in airways and lung parenchyma result in physiological abnormalities that lead to symptoms in patients with asthma and COPD. They have also examined the genetic basis for these inflammatory and structural changes, and identified molecular markers to evaluate patients at risk of developing these same conditions. Dr. Hogg's research productivity has been truly exceptional, having published more than 370 peer-reviewed papers, many of which are in the highest impact peer-reviewed journals. His list of awards received reflects his standing in the academic, clinical, and scientific communities. He has received the Father Sean Sullivan Research Award from St. Joseph's Healthcare here in Hamilton, the Henry Friesen Award from the Royal College of Physicians and Surgeons of Canada, the Tregally Award for Excellence in Mentoring and Scholarship from the American Society of Investigative Pathology, and a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Pulmonary Pathology Society. He is also a Fellow of the Royal Society of Canada, a member of the Canadian Medical Hall of Fame, and an Officer of the Order of Canada. In 2013, Dr. Hogg was honoured with the Gardner Award, the most prestigious biomedical prize in Canada, for his ongoing work on the causes and treatment of lung disease. Dr. Hogg is a Canadian biomedical pioneer whose work has not only established his place as one of the most internationally influential researchers in his field, but has offered breakthroughs connected to some of the world's most widespread and serious pulmonary conditions. Mr. Chancellor, I present James Hogg to you so that you may, in recognition of his contributions to science, medicine, and patients worldwide, confer upon him the degree Doctor of Science, honoris causa.
James Hogg, by the authority of McMaster University Senate, I have the great pleasure to confer upon you the degree Doctor of Science, honoris causa, in McMaster University with all the rights and privileges pertaining to that degree. And I think we have to sign. I would now like to invite Dr. Hogg to deliver the convocation address.
Chancellor Labarge, Vice Chancellor and President Dean, faculty members, honored guests, and most importantly, the graduating class of 2014. I'd also like to add my welcome to their families and the many significant others who helped them get where they are today. And for myself, like you, I received this honorary degree with humility and gratitude, and greatly relish the opportunity to address the graduating class of this great university. Graduation from university is a memorable occasion, and I hope today's celebration will live on in your memories forever. The value of education, almost in any form, is that it sharpens our intellectual gifts and helps us deal with the many challenges that life presents. To appreciate that imagination is an important feature of creativity, and to realize that informed opinions are based on all of the available evidence. And most importantly, I think that you have to have patience in order to apply these skills that you've learned to the problems that you will have to solve. Truth reveals itself slowly and often in staggering steps. For example, when William Harvey first discovered the circulation of the blood in 1628, he couldn't explain why the entire output of the heart circulated through the lungs. It took another century and a half before Joseph Priestley discovered oxygen, and 15 more years before Lavoisier demonstrated that the consumption of oxygen and the production of carbon dioxide were the key features of cellular respiration. Approximately 50 years after that, Claude Bernard, one of the original physician scientists, working with an extremely talented chemist by the name of Gay-Lussac, discovered that the hemoglobin, neatly packaged in our red cells, picked up and bound oxygen in large quantities as the blood passed through the lungs, and that the heart was responsible for delivering this all-important oxygen to the bodily tissues, and most importantly, showed that as the hemoglobin released the oxygen, it developed an affinity to bind to carbon dioxide and remove that so it could be exhaled into the surrounding atmosphere. Collectively, it took something like 200 years to fully understand William Harvey's seminal observations and accumulate the knowledge that we expect that all of our graduates today from any medical school will have at their fingertips. Now let's fast forward from that to about June of 2000, when the sequencing of the human genome was announced. As expected, the interest in this achievement was and has remained intense, with opinions that vary from those who hail it as a significant new achievement, of which I am clearly one, and those who greeted it with healthy skepticism, and others that dismissed it with scorn. May I respectfully suggest that the true value of the rapidly increasing knowledge about the human genome, or almost anything else for that matter, accumulates gradually by a process that balances the passion of those who are trying to develop this new technology and their imagination with the healthy skepticism that allows that to grow in a useful way. And that it takes patience for these things to develop. You will, who see patients, I'm sure will have the experience in your lifetime of people who bring in the sequence of their entire genome for you and ask you to help interpret it for them. That's impossible at the present stage, and it's healthy for you to remember that you don't have to know all that stuff all at once, and that what really applies to human disease will become apparent and has become apparent as we move along. And it'll occur rather slowly, and the patient as well as the people giving the information have to understand that. The truth, as I've said, comes slowly. Imagination and passion that drive creativity need to be balanced by skepticism and restraint, and by a very large dose of patience. And in closing, I'd just like to ask you all to enjoy this important landmark in your lives and wish you good luck in achieving the solutions to all the challenges that life brings to you in the years ahead. Thank you for your attention.
I'd like to thank you for your wise words. We're delighted and honored to have you as part of our community. Thank you.
Dr. Patrick Dean will now come forward to present the graduands to our Chancellor for admission to their degrees.
Will the graduands please stand? Madam Chancellor, on behalf of McMaster University Senate, I present to you these candidates in order that you may confer the appropriate degrees upon them, and I bear witness that they are worthy and suitable. May I also request that you confer the appropriate degrees in absentia upon all these candidates who have successfully completed the required course of study, but who are not present.
Graduates, by my authority and that of McMaster University Senate, I have the great pleasure to admit to those before me today and those in absentia to their individual degrees in McMaster University, with all of the rights and privileges pertaining to those degrees. My sincere congratulations to all of you.
Please be seated. Graduates, I now ask each of you to join me on stage so that the Chancellor and I may welcome you to the McMaster community of scholars.
I declare that the 525th Convocation of McMaster University for the conferring of degrees is now in session. Ladies and gentlemen, so that each graduate's name may be heard, it would be appreciated if during the presentation of the graduands, you would hold your collective applause to the end of each degree category. Thank you. Madam Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Doctor of Philosophy: Kaylin Andrew, Moat. Stephanie Rose Montesanti. Jessica Catherine Shearer. Anna Carolina Alba. Teresa Ann Bennett. Emma Claire Goodall. Courtney Claire Kennedy. Heather Pauline McDonald. Christine Lindsay Kerr. Karen Elizabeth Trychevsky. Andy Kin-on Wong. Emma L. Baum. Madam Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Doctor of Medicine and Doctor of Philosophy. Derek Koo Chen Chu. Madam Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Master of Science. Matthew Cherwinski. Simon York Ming Huang. Kekaloma Edna Akimbobola. Natalia Gaverlenko. Adriana Maria Jimenez Vargas. Muhammad Arfan Khan. Tatiana Nechiporenko. Zoe Shamandi. Wal Ahmed Mohammed Sodi. Diana Vania. Stephen Choi. Amir Suhail. Celeste Alicia Francis Collins. Wagadi Ali Shaki. Yen Ting Shen. Victoria Yum. Tanya Catherine Coburn. Jacqueline Jose Mines. Sheetal Shaw. Leslie Marion Stevenson. Sherry Lynn Stevenson.
Madam Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Doctor of Medicine. Ryan Francis Alders. Amina Abdallah. Tamara Anna Abraham. Melody Adler. Hisham Al-Shikarchi. Parnian Arjmand. Kyle Adam Arsenault. Jatan Badiwala. Karan Bami. Darius Began. Kunal Banot. Jessica Kaur Buller. Andre Blanchard. Catherine Ann Bodkin. Shannon Claire Bucking. Adrian Boudrum. Madeline Claire Burdick. Robin Lindsay Carnell. Matthew Caruana. Margaret Ellen Casey. Alexa Patricia Cadaret. Jessica Hoi Ling Chung. Matthew Chong. Rennie Chu. Sarah Rachel Citron. Evan Taylor Cole. Mary Ellen Conway. Miguel Alejandro Cortel. Tyler Michael Cupo. Alana Sarah Hart Cartwright. Allison Dawn Culp. Lauren Elizabeth Daly.